Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. Tonight, Nigel Farage versus Keir Starmer. Who exactly is public enemy number one? Are you in Starmer's camp or are you in Farage's? Because this week, last few days, dreadful attack on Nigel Farage. Is he a racist? Is he an anti-Semite? Or were these the things he said when he was 13 years old? I want your views. Come on. Because let's face it, welcome to the show. Grab your tea, get your wine, whatever you drink, whatever gets you through modern British politics, which, let's face it, is chaos. Because tonight, this is going to be a spicy one. Nigel Farage is under attack again. He must be doing something right. But this time, the outrage machine of the mainstream, lamestream media and the political class has gone into full retro mode. I expect them to have their spoons on and their Oxford bags any minute now, because they're digging up comments or remarks that he's alleged to have said when he was 13 years old. 13. Most of us were busy failing our maths, accidentally setting off the school fire alarm, or drinking a bottle of cheap Coke outside the Tam O'Shanter Club with some stale crisps while we waited for our dads, weren't we? But no, right on cue. There, it's the Guardian, the usual suspects. They've got somebody who went to school with him who said he was an anti-Semite, he hated Jews, he sang songs about the gas chambers, and also he hated black people. Somebody who went to school with him 50 years ago to his public school, Dulwich, and he's just brought it up now. Other people who are at school at the same time don't remember this. A couple have joined in. But I asked you a serious question. Didn't we all say stupid things when we were 13? Things that we wouldn't want necessarily digging up now. And what he says when he was 13, why should that be a problem now, when he's a grown-up? So it's Farage this, Farage that. They're trying to make him out to be public enemy number one, that he's a fascist, that he's a Nazi. Don't vote for him. But don't forget, this latest outrage, this latest smear, is all over something allegedly, and it's only allegedly said before he even hit puberty. So here's the question I'm asking. Is Nigel Farage genuinely the public enemy number one, or is the establishment so scared of him? Keir Starmer's bum cheeks are clanging like this because he knows he's finished, and so is the Labour Party. There's no one who's going to rescue them, and that Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister after an election. Is that what's happening? And are the political establishment's mates in the mainstream, lamestream world, the Guardian, therefore Emily Mateless, therefore the BBC, are they worried as well? Because they know their cosy relationship with the government in power, whether it's Labour or whether it's the Tories, will be over. Because the timing is interesting, isn't it? Farage is surging in the polls. He dominates all the headlines. He dominates the thinking of people like the Home Secretary, Shabina Mahmood. She's made a speech today about paying people even more money if they want to leave the country. But the basic thrust of what she was saying, despite what the Conservatives said, it was reform policies. Reform is setting the agenda. Of course. And reform are the genuine article. They say the only way to stop the small boats is to get out of the ECHR. Now, the Conservatives are saying a similar thing now. But it was Farage who was saying it first. Well, you could argue Ben Habib, maybe, or Rupert Lowe. I think the establishment is absolutely petrified that Farage is going to do it. But the ridiculous thing is, the more they smear him, the more successful he seems to get. So get on the chat early. I want your take on this. Is it fair scrutiny? Because you might argue, well, Farage can't be above criticism. And if he said these things, these anti-Semitic things, he should explain himself. That's what Keir Starmer's saying. At Prime Minister's questions, he actually said Farage should come to the House of Commons and explain himself. What? Explain what he did when he was 13? I wouldn't like to know. Oh, yeah, I had mucky mag. I put it under my bed. Oh, yeah, I fancied Karen Robinson. Oh, yeah, I did this. Oh, yeah, I smashed up some greenhouses, or whatever it was. It's nonsense. He's not been convicted of anything. He's a politician. Be careful what you say there, Gaunty. So I just want to know your views. This is a complete overreaction, but it's because they've got an agenda. Have you seen the picture they illustrated it with? Farage looks like the devil incarnate. Why can't they concentrate on policy and actually sorting out their own house before coming up with these ridiculous, stupid smear stories? Are you with me or against me? Also, I want to know, who is public enemy number one? I would suggest it's not the man who wants to reclaim our sovereignty, not the man who led Brexit, Nigel Farage. I'd suggest it's perhaps Keir Starmer, who put the rights of asylum seekers and illegal immigrants above the rights of the women in Epping. He used our tax money to pay for that. Is that right? I would say that makes him the enemy of the people, wouldn't you? So it's weird that he's trying to make out Farage's. I mean, I know Starmer said he's not got a problem with the flags, but he clearly has. Farage hasn't. Farage wants out completely. He wants to rip up the ECHR. So whilst they're pouncing about at the edges, nothing's going to happen. I've had time now to think about what the Home Secretary said 2 days ago about illegals, and what she said today about the legals. It just makes it worse. It's all performative. They're not going to get on top of it. I think the only person who will be Farage. Now, I think Shabina Mahmood might end up in reform the way she's going. But unless, well, no, I just want to ask you, I think Keir Starmer has done more in 14 months to wreck this great nation than Farage has since he was 13. Farage, they hate him. You know why? Because he wears those ridiculous cords. He's got a barber for when it rains. He's always got a fag on, and he's always got a beer in his hand. And they hate the fact that he's a public school boy. Because don't forget, this school where he's alleged to have been singing Nazi songs, he was 13, was a public school. And the establishment, even though they went to public schools, although I know most of Labour didn't, they think that means you can't possibly talk to the common people. But of course, Nigel Farage proves that's wrong every time he opens his gob. He has got a better connection, just like Trump, with working class people than the son of a toolmaker, Keir Starmer, will ever have. So they just find ways of trying to slag him. So these journalists, at the moment, they're acting as if they've uncovered the Dead Sea Scrolls of teenage Farage. That somehow now that's the facts. They're there. He is a racist. This is what he said. And then the quotes are there. Then further down in the article, they stress the fact it was when he was 13. Nowhere in that Guardian article, or when Keir Starmer had a go about it at Prime Minister's questions, do they say they believe he's like that now? Because they would be up for a major defamation suit if they did. It's dirty, filthy politics, what they're involved in. And what they're fearing, they are fearing Reform UK. And when I say Reform UK, I'm not a member. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But what they're actually fearing is you, the working class, the people who are saying, we don't want to live in a country like this. We want to live in a country where we can be proud of our flag, where we can say, this is who we are. We want to live in a country where we're not paying people £20,000 to go home, criminals, people who have overstayed their welcome, who've got no right to be here, we're having to pay them. We want a government, don't we, that stops them coming in the first place. I accept you've got to deal with the present problem we've got, but when 1,000 people are coming in every other day, you've also got to stem the flow. And how you stem the flow is, oh, here we go again, put the army on the beach, the navy in the channel, if we can get in there, around the Chinese and Russian subs and the rest of it. What a joke that is. Have you seen that story? Military personnel have been told, don't talk about anything that's sensitive in your car in case the Chinese are spying on us. I said this in a podcast about a year ago now. I said, we're too reliant on China. You may want to comment on that. And we clearly are. Now we're being told, forget about the Chinese taking over. They're already here. They're listening. And the Russians are probably doing the same. We were going to give the Chinese our nuclear power stations. We're still talking about them having a big embassy right on top of where we send all our secret messages around the globe in the old Bank of England building. How mad is this? There was the mobile phone company who the Tories were going to allow to run. I think they already run some of our gas and electricity. And then you wonder why there's a blackout. You wonder why the internet went down the other day. Or you wonder why there's drones over airports. Well, I wonder why. I wonder how. And then we got that Range Rover. I talked about it the other day. You know that new Range Rover? It's a Chinese rip-off. It's a complete rip-off of the Range Rover, but they're selling it for 30 grand rather than 100 grand. Of course, it won't be as good, but there was an article today I read in the paper. I think it was in the, what newspaper was it? In the Times or something. Anyway, on the BBC. All these women, they're buying it as the new Chelsea tractor. But it isn't just that car that's maybe got the listening devices in. It's all the other things we own that we've got from China, because we got to a stage where we knew the price of everything, but the value of absolutely nothing, of sweet FA. We've allowed them to take all our industry. Mrs. Thatcher's got to take some of the blame for this. Why are we standing on more coal than we could possibly import? Why have we allowed Ed Miliband to become the Green Tsar? Why are we letting that gap-toothed twat from the Green Party get so much publicity? It's all part of the same thing, because they're challenged by Nigel Farage. But it isn't just Farage. It's you. You and your common views. You and you patriotic. You and you people who want to put up flags. You people who don't want people coming into our country, changing our culture, and us bending over backwards all the time and spending all this money, because some of the people who have been attacking us, they're scared of being called a nasty name. That's what the establishment are worried about. That's what's happened. The very people who have sold us down the river are now upset because Farage might get in power, because things like the Muslim rape gangs from Pakistan, we were right. They've ignored it. Starmer didn't even want to have a public inquiry. He's been forced, but it still hasn't happened. So how dare we, or how dare they, Starmer and his ilk, the Guardianistas, yeah, the uber liberals, how dare they say Farage is public enemy number one, which is what they're suggesting, because you remember, diversity is our strength. He's not a racist. I've met him loads of times. He's not a racist. But they want to portray him like that because they want you to think, oh, I better not vote for him because I don't want anyone to know. I know people who, for example, listen to my show, but I say to them, well, why don't you come on and say so? Oh, no, I don't want to, Gaunty. They're scared of how other people will think, the group thinkers. Or should it be the grope thinkers if we're talking about the BBC? We've got a situation, I would say, that Starmer, who has dragged his feet, and other political figures, and not allowed this rape inquiry to happen before now, I would say, call me old-fashioned, that they're public enemy number one. They are public enemy number one. They're the people who hate us. They hate our way of life. They hate our culture. They hate our whiteness. That's why we've had all this cultural Marxism. That's why we've got to recognize every other religion in the world and every other culture. We're not allowed to say, well, actually, I think that's bullshit. I don't like the way women, Muslim women, have to wear that piece of cloth. I don't want kids covered up like that. I don't even want women like that. Do you? But I'm not allowed to say it. The majority view in this country, and I'm not talking about being racist, I'm talking about ordinary people, common sense. We're not allowed to speak. And now it's got worse. Now they've got people checking the internet to make sure that nobody's saying anything against the government. We're almost living in a kind of slightly more liberal North Korea. And then, do you know where your supreme leader is today? I have been telling you for a week. He's flying to South Africa. We're getting the plane about now because there's not much of a time difference. He's going to South Africa. What's he going there for, Gaunty? G20. Oh, well, that's important because all the political leaders will be there. No. Russia don't go. China don't go. They're not allowed. And this year, the United States of America are not going. Trump has boycotted it. How can you have a meeting of the G20 without them three? Answer is, you can't. It's like Starmer's coalition of the willing or the dead, bloody, useless. And does the media pick up on this? No. Have you heard anywhere in the mainstream media that Starmer was going away this week? No, you haven't. Why? Because they'll all be on the plane with him tonight. They'll all be there drinking their bloody champagne, waiting for him to deign to come down the plane and have a chat with them. You've seen the photos of them. Some of the top political commentators, they're always with him. They are the public enemy number one. And what we've got to do, and this is why they want to control social media. This is why Lucy Connolly went to prison. This is why they reacted and called us all far-right scum for daring to be upset when a madman killed 3 young girls and wrecked the lives of 10 others. Oh, no, we shouldn't do that. That's not very liberal. What we should be doing is not looking back in anger, all holding hands and singing Kumbaya, because diversity is our strength. It isn't. You can have a diverse society, but there has to be something that links us all together. May I humbly suggest that's being British or English. Look at Scotland. Brilliant that they won the football. What a game. I've only seen the highlights. I loved it. My first reaction was going to be to write a tweet taking the mickey, saying they've booked their tickets and they've also got the return tickets for 6 days later, because it's always like that, but it might not be. And I also decided that's a bit negative. Isn't it brilliant? And they played so well against Denmark. Isn't it brilliant? They're going as well as England. And have you noticed with the Scottish, there'll be no embarrassment. They'll have the old ginger wig on. They'll have the kilt on, the sporran, dancing in the street. Oh, but everybody loves the Scottish fans because they're not hooligans like the English. The English aren't allowed to express express their Englishness. Are they? We're not allowed to. We have to be nervous. Why? No. England and the rest of Britain is a great multicultural melting pot. But what we are first and foremost, whether you like it or not, is English or British or Scottish. You have to have borders. And this all comes back to this. This is why the flip-flop warriors, the invasion that they're doing, isn't just an invasion that therefore puts our wives and our daughters in danger. It's invasion. What has gone wrong here? Sorry. That was going really well as well, wasn't it? There we are. Not that one, that one. There we are. Right, I should be back now. Can you see me? Can you hear me? This is the Jon Gaunt Show. I do apologise. I'm back. Thank you. Craig Urquhart says, you're back, mate. Thank you, Craig. Who's that one there? Pippo Diura, you're back. Thank you. I do apologise. I don't know. It's just the internet. I don't know why that is. I do apologise. So everyone's saying I'm back. Right. So Richard Pope, thank you very much indeed. Right. Well, I hope you're enjoying what I'm saying, and I hope you're getting the gist of what I'm saying, because we can now move forward from there. If you've got a view on what I've said so far, I want to hear it. I believe the attacks on Farage are unfair. They're smears, but they're not just an attack on him. They're an attack on all of us, every single one of us. And I'm asking you tonight, who do you trust most? There's the question. Starmer or Farage? Just put it in the comments. Starmer or Farage, whichever one. Okay? I want to know your views. Right, and I'm coming to you now. But do you see how I'm saying these things tied together? They are scared. They are absolutely frit. This country is going to descend into chaos next week. The budget's going to be a disaster. We're going to hit that economic iceberg. No one knows what they're doing, including Rachel in accounts. They'll probably ditch Starmer like I'm predicting. But who have they got to take over? We need a general election, and we need to give the gig to Farage. And we don't need to worry about what he was doing when he was 13 years old. We all did a few bad things, didn't we? Let's get this conversation going. Denise Deacon, if they have to resort to digging back to when he was a child, they must be very, very scared. I don't have a clue what stupid things I said when I was 13. Exactly, Denise. See, because you're an ordinary person. You're a normal person. You know that's logical. You can't possibly have a go at that. But they're doing it. And they're doing it because they haven't got the common touch. They don't know how to talk to you, Denise. They don't know how to get you on side. So they'll try and call you a racist, a little Englander. They'll smear you, and they'll try and damage anyone who might be leading you to the promised land. That's the point I'm trying to make in this particular broadcast. By the way, if you like what I'm doing, please press the like button. 27 so far, that's good. But can you also, please, had no donations yesterday. If you want to donate, you just click the $sign. I might be able to get a better internet connection there. Click the $sign and just donate a few quid or a tenner or a fiver. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything you want there as well. That's what I need you to do. Let's go. Starmer, Dave 1958 says, Starmer doesn't even answer a question in Prime Minister's questions. Dave, you're right. It's turned into Prime Minister avoids the questions. The Speaker should not allow him to get away with that. I think it's disgraceful. It's an affront to democracy. Dave also says he's a traitor to the working man. Well, he's never been a working man, has he? He does all this bullshit about my dad was a toolmaker. No, your dad owned a factory, big boy. Yeah. He's put out that video with his talking about his son and his daughter and how important it is. And he wants, who does he think he is? Do you think does he believe that we swallow this BS? Because we don't. Whereas Farage, I always remember there's a great story about Farage. He was caught, it's by the News of the Screws, I think. And they'd been with some Yugoslavian or Czechoslovakian model, right? And they asked him for a quote. And they basically said that Nigel Farage had slept all night with this woman. His answer was brilliant. He said, I can assure you I did not sleep all night. You see, and that's the common touch. It's not right what he did, but he laughs at it. He pricks their pomposity. But the media know they won't be able to control him, especially in the social media age. Loads of people have proved this. Trump, Tommy Robinson, you can just go ahead, above the collective thoughts of the mainstream media, can't you? With X, especially now that Elon Musk has bought X. It truly has democratized things. Have a look at the photos tomorrow of who's on that plane. Yeah, it'll be all of the people like the Daily Telegraph, the Sun. The last one, there was Harry Cole from the Sun sitting next to him on the plane. I'm not having a go at them because it's all part of it. But what I'm trying to say is we need an alternative, and it's not fair what they're doing to Farage. Starmer is public enemy number one, John, by his and his own party's fault, says Pam Millett. So that's one of the questions I'm asking you. Who is public enemy number one? Watch out for that creep Burnham. Not a fan then, Dave. Thank you. Howdy, John. Howdy, folks. Thank you, Charlie Burton. Scraping the barrel for muck on Farage. It's a joke. Of course it is, Maggie. Of course it is. What you are and what you do when you're 13, unless you're an arsonist or a murderer or something, it isn't going to be what you are when you're, how old's Farage? I think he's 63, isn't he? 62. It's just a joke. Just ridiculous. But you see, there's two levels, Maggie. One, they think they can convince you that, and oh, he's a racist. It's in the Guardian. It must be true. No one buys the fucking Guardian, number one. But number two, they also think you're thick, that you won't see through it. Well, the British public, because of the internet and because of Southport and because of the riots and because of being called far-right thugs, and I've got to say it on the day of the COVID inquiry, because of COVID and the way the government lied to us so much within that, which is coming out now, yes, people don't trust them. But there's something about Farage which is kind of genuine. And it's weird because he's not one of us. Johnson let the people down, says Dave, stating the bloody obvious. John, I'll always agree with you. And Jon Gaunt, you're always right. And Jon Gaunt is always correct, says Laura. I wish you'd tell my wife that, but I don't think it's true. But thank you for your kind words. There is nothing Labour can say that will make me dislike Farage, says Jackie Ward. I know he's not perfect, well, but at least he's in touch with the people of this country, unlike Starmer, who is totally disconnected. Jackie, I may as well stop now because you've summed it up perfectly. We like him because of his faults. We like him because he's the kind of bloke, maybe like you, Jackie, your old man or your boyfriend, you know he sometimes is a twat and gets drunk and does the wrong things, eats the wrong things, drinks too much, does this, does that. But that's why people like him. That's all part of his, I was going to say his act, but it's not an act. That's who he is. That's who he is. I went once for lunch with him. I was paying, by the way, when I was doing this European thing. I went to a place called Bosdale, something like that. They've got 2 of them in London. They're all done out in tartan, and the idea of these restaurants, steak. It's basically steak. He said, I'll meet you there. So I went with a couple of my colleagues. We got absolutely trolleyed. And that was one of the famous lines he came out with. I think he tested it on me. He said, how can I be anti-European? I've drunk a lake of Rioja. That was his joke. But it's kind of true. You couldn't go out for another politician who'd let his guard down like that, because he hasn't really got a guard. He's just him. And that's why he will be the Prime Minister. So, Jackie, you have summed it up. Unless he got caught in bed with the whole of Westminster Abbey choir boys, the British public, that's Nigel. Wouldn't they? Or have I got that wrong? That's why this smear campaign won't work. No one's donated. Come on, guys. John, you'd think spend more time doing the job instead of spending too much time blaming and contradicting each other. I said that yesterday, my friend. I said it's ridiculous that what we actually need at the moment is people working together. If this threat from China and Russia, which I don't think it's from Russia, but if it is, we need to be working together, don't we? Isn't that what the British people want? But no, they're always scoring points. We want to secure our borders. You've got to get out of the ECHR. Just my view. They can defame him with House of Commons privileges, but not outside the House of Commons. That's true, and they'll do more and more of that. But this was in the Guardian. But you see, it's not defamatory because they're talking about when he was a kid. And they're saying they're accusations and allegations. That's what they're saying. And they've been very careful not to say, well, he's a racist now. Of course, some MPs in the House of Commons, like that idiot who represents Coventry, Postal Road and the Gaza Strip, Zara Sultana, Fruit and Nutcake case, whatever her name is, they'll come out with that rubbish. And they'll do it in Parliament, so they've got privilege. You're correct. Let's move on. Good evening, John. How about Starmer explaining what he said when he was 13 then? We are all innocent at that age. It's all corruption and sleaze on Labour's part. I think that's a fair point, Richard. I think that's a fair point. I don't forget about 13. Things I said at 16. Things I said at 18. Things I said at 21 or 25. You grow up, don't you? Do we really want to live in a society where, well, I think we do. Some people do want this, where you're cosseted and you're covered in cotton wool and you never say anything that might upset someone. God, I'd be shot. I would, wouldn't I? I just think you've got to speak your mind. Sometimes you've got to show a bit of sensitivity, of course. Anyway. Starmer has become trapped in a corner by the media. Even his own MPs are struggling to support. Next week, when Rachel from the office delivers a budget which could affect everyone. You're right. Jon Gaunt to become the next Prime Minister, says Laura. Thank you very much indeed. Raymond says they're both working for billionaires. Who are you talking about? Farage? Who's the billionaire he's working for? I'm a bit confused. Explain that a bit more if you can, and we'll move from there. Starmer seems to be in every country except the one he's meant to be running, says Denise. Correct. He's got now, I think it's 40,000. 40 trips he's been on. And he's going to South Africa. There's no point in going. No one's going to be there. David KT, this John goes back to the French Revolution. Hold on. And Peterloo in 1819, where the then Crown and now State were terrified of the Great Unwashed. Yeah, the Peterloo massacre. It's all about protection of the state first. Thank you very much indeed for your comments, David. Billy No Mates. In my opinion, no one is the entire UK government. In my opinion, number one is the entire UK government, who should be brought up on charges of grand larceny, aiding and abetting sex gangs. Well, I don't think you can say they aided. Illegal human trafficking, treason and harassment, alarm and distress. You don't think much of them, do you, Billy? Billy No Mates. on YouTube. Thank you for your comments. These are people now saying, you're back. Yeah, I'm here. Yes, you're right. Yes. Craig Urquhart says, it was the Chinese. What, you reckon the Chinese pulled the plug on me tonight? It could be. Could be the government, could be China. You could say it's the same. I don't know. Richard Pope's coming down the similar line. He's saying it's hacker Starmer. Thank you. And then people are now saying who they'd like, who they trust most, Farage or Starmer. I know how this is going to go. Ronnie Hurst says Farage. Denise says Farage, 100%. Advance UK, County Durham says neither. Ben Habib is the man. Well, I understand that. I thought he was a very nice chap, sincere and genuine, but he ain't going to be the Prime Minister. So I keep saying to you lot, you've got to wake up and smell the coffee. Pippo Dio, I don't trust any, but Farage has got to have a chance to govern, to prove himself. Thank you very much indeed. Right, let me go to the next one. I trust Farage only, not British hating and people hating Starmer. I think I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you. Where are we going next? We're going to go to Paul Rowbottom. Farage, but I want to know what they're going to replace the ECHR with. Our own Bill of Rights. I think that's the basic premise of it. But thank you for your comments. Denise Deacon, thank you, Denise. She sent £3, $2.99 on a super sticker here on YouTube. You are the first donator of the evening, and you're a very, very good one. Thank you. Patricia Rosborough, she hasn't said anything. She just put the thing anyway. Never mind. And Starmer, why he never answers a question, John? I don't know. What do you want to say? Thank you very much indeed. The person who's writing obscene comments, you've just been banned. And when I finish the show, I shall report you because what you're writing is filth. And I'm just not going to have it. I'm just not going to have it. You've obviously come back out of the woodwork. And let me just delete that. There we go. Okay, done it. Let's move on. What about the Jon Gaunt, Mike Graham show? What about it? Thank you for your comments. Craig Urquhart. He's doing all right without me. He doesn't need me. Starmer at 13 asked his dad, where do you want this tool? He replied, just stand there, son. I love it. Hi, John. The establishment is crapping itself. Character assassination. It's just them scratching around to silence him. The general public will not buy it. Well, I don't think they will either. Mark Phipps says, Nigel Farage, 100%. Thank you very much indeed. So we're going to finish in a second. If you do wish to comment, feel free. Just give me your views. Are you in Farage or are you with Starmer? That's the question we're asking. Love to hear from you. Let's have your opinion on that. Right. I'm going to stop now. Got to get the dinner on. Who we got next? Niven Casey. I've done those. All right. Thank you for the show. Thank you for joining in. I'm sorry about the technical problem halfway through. If you've listened on a podcast, now go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. When it says, do you want to subscribe? Say yes. Doesn't cost you anything. It just means you always know when I'm doing a show and you can get into the archive. Also, as well, my friend, if you'd like to donate, you can do it after the show, www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or you can do it on YouTube on the Jon Gaunt TV page just by buying a sticker. Maggie Young has given me the claps and my sky blue heart. Thank you. And Jackie Ward, the 3 red hearts are there as well. Brilliant. That means I can finish. Hope you enjoyed it. Do think about what I'm saying, because we don't do one-dimensional radio, or whatever you call this, broadcasting, internet. I think there is a direct link between these smears against Farage. They're worried. They are worried. I thought a bloke who's made the point about history. That was an interesting point as well. Thank you for that. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you tomorrow's Friday. I will be doing one tomorrow, but probably earlier. And of course, I will be here on Sunday afternoon. Thanks for all your support. Keep spreading the word. And don't forget, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.